Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are premiering. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out to Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Bern Fattel, My Stomach is as Flat as the Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, Godrockin, Henrik86, Jeronism, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Matt, Nagara, Naibai, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Rene, Sally Ballis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, The Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app, theflatearthchannel.com, Tina Baker and Tom Hawkins. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are currently joined by a fair few people in both G+ and Discord servers, so I'm going to raise the mic on them and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the next live show.
Why is there two links to the room? Did it crash?
No, Rumpus joined
Rumpus
us.
crashed.
Cut over Rumpus.
How did Rumpus get in the room?
I think Tony gave him the link.
I invited him.
Didn't
Yep.
you ride Sleeping Warriors coattails?
And then Rumpus decided to start non-stop rumpusing.
Oh my god! So let me get this straight. Tony White knighted Rumpus.
Kinda.
How does that not surprise me none?
Well, it seems that Anthony likes to bring around his punching bags with him.
I even made a song about it.
You made a song?
Yeah, I started singing when I realized that Rumpus wasn't gonna stop rumpusing. 2 more
Oh, these
hours
guys,
of rumpusing. 2 more hours of rumpusing. Nobody can kick him, nobody can kick him. 2 more hours of rumpusing. Nobody can kick him, nobody can kick him.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
Yeah. These guys like Rumpus and Zanuck. They remind me of the character on Monty Python, the Holy Grail. He's guarding a bridge, and he gets cut to pieces, and he's still wanting to fight.
That's merely a flesh wound.
Yeah.
It's the Black Knight.
Meanwhile, blood's squirting out.
It's a good movie.
That's
Come back
in the
here.
day,
I'll bite your legs off.
man. Yeah. I haven't seen that in so long. When did that movie come out?
Gotta be mid-70s, I guess.
Isn't it?
68 or something.
Nah, it's not that early, is it?
Yeah.
It's
Gotta
old,
be
man.
like the 80s.
Or maybe
No
7.
way.
We've got 80s, 70s, and 60s now as a guess for Monty
But
Python and
Monty
the Holy Grail.
Python's Flying Circus was one of the
Flying
first. That was like very early. You could see it in the camera quality. I don't know.
Yeah.
Monty Python's Holy
It's
Grail.
not the 80s, man. And it's definitely, it has to be in the 70s because I remember laughing at it back then.
Yeah,
No.
it's 70s. That's what I said.
1975.
That's what I said.
Okay. You're right.
No, I said 70s first.
Okay. Anyway, it's Morgile's like channel banner for his channel. So he's got, is it Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, and they're looking up at Camelot, and it's got a speech bubble with one of them saying, "It's only a model."
Yep. And Monty Python's Flying Circus started 69.
Yeah. Isn't he riding like a fake horse or something? Aren't they riding fake horses?
No. They've got coconuts.
Banging them together.
Yeah, how did they get there? Well, they theorized that swallows would have carried them over. Unless they were very small, and then they had to carry them together.
Oh, that was in that movie as well, wasn't it? When he's explaining logic. And if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's made of wood. And therefore... a witch!
God.
A witch! Burn her! Burn her! And then they weigh her. They weigh her versus a duck. And she does weigh the same as a duck. And her response to that is, it's a fair cop. That's a great scene when the guy's explaining the twisted logic. That's just brilliant.
I just get pieces of it, man. It's fragmented, right? Because it's so long ago. That is so hilarious, man.
You've seen the part with the social justice warrior peasant, who's actually more competent than modern day social justice.
He asks him, goes, who's he? Goes, must be a king or something. How can you tell? Well, he's not covered in shit, is he?
And now some globehead is listening and is wondering what we're talking about and comes in.
Did you hold on a second? You keep coming out. Did you just watch this?
No, it's one of those movies as a kid, as my kid's literally howling in the background. It's one of those movies I was told from a Christian, very devout Christian family. You know, my uncle was a pastor and my grandmother's a missionary. You know, very, very Christian upbringing. So I was told that I wasn't allowed to watch those movies by Monty Python, especially not Life of Brian. So as a consequence, I now know pretty much the entire movie verbatim.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. In my teens, I've seen it 60 times or something. But it's really so compact. There's so many funny jokes, and they stay relevant. That's the amazing thing. It's just a very well-made movie.
There's a great story that Steve Coogan told about John Cleese, and I think they were filming. I can't remember the film that they were filming. Gulliver's Travels or something like that. So John Cleese watches Steve Coogan drive away in his Ferrari, and he turns to the director and he goes, "Who was that chap in the Ferrari?" And the director says, "Oh, that's Steve Coogan." He goes, "Terribly talented gentleman, isn't he?" And the director says, Yes, he is very good, yeah. He goes, "I do hope he gets cancer."
That's savage.
Ouch.
I think I've seen that. Oh man, the memories, man. Jeez, I wasn't ready for that this morning.
Hey, John, do you know Brenda came earlier here?
No, man, I woke up late. So
Yeah, and she said that she could answer my questions about how much time we have in a cubic meter of space.
no way.
Yeah,
What?
and the answer was a donut.
What's a what?
Donut.
Did you say a donut?
He did, yeah, he did say that.
This is getting a little weird.
Donut.
You defended this, Arwin. I'm hoping you take the mic up now. You said she was right.
Yeah, but I didn't hear the question again, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
Didn't understand the weird context. I thought it was just a straightforward question
You
about
heard the
Einstein.
donut bit though, didn't you? Let's be honest.
Sorry?
You stepped in after she said donut. That was the bit you were backing.
Donut.
Yeah, I told you, it gets better.
Yeah,
Right.
the whole of a donut.
It's the inverse square law of donuts.
But you can buy a whole bunch of donut holes.
Well, donuts would be a typical object that would be, or a shape that could be applied or studied within the pseudo-Riemannian space system, the math curve study system. So a donut might be the answer, mathematically speaking.
What? I can't believe my ears.
If
A
math
donut
is
might be the
reality-
answer, mathematically
Darwin.
speaking.
Not
The only way-
scientific, though, not scientific.
It's
Good
cheaper
job
by
you
the
gave that
dozen,
clarity,
doesn't it?
Arwin. For a second there, we all thought this was a donut that had been scientifically validated as the cause of space-time. My bad. Good job you brought that clarity.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work that. You can't just mathematically conceptualize something and then suddenly out of nowhere a donut just manifests. There's your empirical proof. No, it's not an actual donut.
Well, hey, we got a full Discord panel here. Hoping that later on in the show we can pick on some of these baller Discordians.
While we're talking about donuts, any cops in the house?
Hopes are the main enemy of
We got
pseudo-Riemannian.
donuts, shoes, and pants. What is missing?
How does a shoe contain the donuts without a barrier?
That is a good question.
How do you know it
Rumpus,
doesn't have
yeah.
a barrier? Maybe the foot is the barrier.
Well, it's a natural phenomenon.
You put on the shoe with the donut in between, then the foot becomes the barrier that seals the shoe container.
Would you need some type of container to make a measurement of pressure?
Yes.
So that
Because
alone,
without a container, there is no gas pressure.
yeah. I mean, that already debunks the assertion that you don't need a container. How do you get the reading without a container?
Yeah, you lose all the donuts.
It's obvious that all this mounting evidence for outer space and the vacuum of space is so immense that they have to go to donuts to explain it.
No, but according to Einsteinian gravity, we're all subjected to the donut. The donut is ever present.
And
And
guess
what is that?
Remember,
what-
gravity technically now is a donut.
I have
whenever
no
the ball is
idea
asked-
what you're I have no idea what you're connecting to what. You're just saying things, but you're not connecting anything.
Yes, I am. It's not
Einstein-
nonsensical
okay.
connections, but they are connections.
Einstein and donuts, don't tell me anything. Please elaborate.
Space-time bending, the conceptual medium, how that's visualized. Yeah, donut shape comes to mind. Purely mathematical. It doesn't resolve anything.
I
But if
don't
you
know
then
how.
mistakenly take that literal into a donut, then suddenly that mistake would allow you through cognitive dissonance to say, okay, gravity is a donut.
How in the world can you bend something that's not real into a shape of a donut and then describe it with a physical shape and it's not real in the beginning? How is that even possible for the imagination to say, oh, well, it looks like a donut?
That
Because
was in my explanation. Cognitive dissonance.
But we
It's
call
Santa
that
Claus
insanity.
It is like a
It's Santa
donut
Claus
looks like a
fault.
zero, and gravity is nothing.
You can think of it as something.
Because it's not real! You can't show it because it's not real! Because it's not real! You can't show it because it's not real! That's because it's not real. You can't show it because it's not real!
Loving it. Oh, that's awesome.
That settles that.
Yep. Any globe heads in the Discord panel, share your pain.
Share your donut.
Thank you. We got the truth, airline research pilot researcher, Dougie, Roger MC, Idealator, Bobo, and Jamaica Me Crazy. And Baz Krish. Come off moot
And share your
show us that
donut.
you're smarter than Timmy.
We are hungry and will gladly accept any donut.
Yeah, gravity is becoming a very scrumptious subject.
Hey, by the way, Dejan, concerning your experiment and the potential transmutations going on, gives me a very interesting new light to the idea of how gases could be recycled in the upper layer. Because I earlier said, like, there must be something transforming helium into another substance in order for it to come down, or it would pile up forever there.
Yeah, it's just
But this
dissolving.
transmutation gives a new opening to that. It's like maybe there is something happening up there that changes, that transforms it into something else so that it comes back down again in another form. I don't know.
I think it's just basic, just dissolves it, just redistributes charges. So we had maybe a wrong perspective on the whole process.
Right. It is very fascinating.
So
Arwen,
ballers have any
Excuse-
claims to make.
can you shut
Any
the
longer-
fuck
Come
up?
on.
Arwen, can you shut up? Arwen,
And guess
shut
what?
up!
At last, we
Shut up! Arwen,
Not really
excuse
fascinating.
me.
Oh
Okay,
my
what was that?
gosh, who's doing that?
John is in trolling mood, I guess. Well, it is Friday.
Arwen,
after
it's
Oh,
Arwen,
hang
it's
on.
coming through the G plus. I can see Nathan's icon lighting up. So that's someone in there. Someone in there, if you can see.
It's John. It's John playing samples.
Okay. Was it John last time? John, was that you last time doing it? Even though you said you didn't? Were you totally messing with him?
What? What are you talking about?
I'm confused.
Oh, I think it was like 5 shows ago. It was happening again, and Nathan was handling it pretty cool, but you could tell it was getting on his nerves.
I think it was John.
We need a mod here in Discord though. Someone to kick these idle globers, these stationary globers.
Righteous is there.
Well, there's room. There's room for 2, so it's all good.
I
Okay,
wonder
well, just have
sometimes why
some-
they do it. Are they just filler? Are they literally taking up space in order to prevent others from going in?
Well, you get the different.
Well, that's why I
lines.
try to stay on it.
Whoa, that's all right. What the fuck?
You can listen to the show while it's live and not broadcasting.
Well, this
But
room is
can't you just do
exclusively
that
for people who
on
participate
YouTube?
in the debate, though.
Is Nathan's show on YouTube right now?
True.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just
No.
talking about the live stream. This live stream channel.
Now this is the
How
after
you doing,
show,
Righteous?
right?
Yes. Well, in between show.
Well, I'm off. Cheers, guys. Chat later, John.
All right, see you later.
Later.
Matsoid.
See you, Fatsoid.
Oh. Man. Oh, by the way, something entirely different. I took a huge dose of fish oil yesterday before I went to bed. That did
So,
interesting
y-
stuff.
You were sleeping in your. You were swimming in your sleep, or
Swimming?
fish oil? Just tent man's kind of joke.
Right.
Hey, don't bring me in on that one. If it's about fish, mine are more scaled down.
Tent man, you're the man.
Well, you fell for the bait.
Oh my gosh, that was kind of a rough pun, by the way, the other day there, 10th man, that you
Which
pulled
one?
on Adam Meekin. That was rough,
What-
dude.
Which one?
Hmm?
Which
You
one?
remember
I
the
love
one I'm
Adam.
talking about?
No, I love Adam. Which one was it?
Oh gosh, you said it was about him being a pharmacist, and you made a pun
Oh
about
yeah, oh yeah.
about him being drug away.
No, I said because Adam's a pharmacist. The Italian police. No wonder he got drugged away.
Hey Adam, how you doing?
Yeah.
Afternoon, guys.
Hello.
Wasn't a rough
Dan was
pun.
just making a silly joke about you.
No,
Oh, good.
no, but no. Jimmy
Do
Jedi.
it. I can self-deprecate.
Yeah, I said, Jimmy Jedi he said, that was a rough pun you did on Adam Meek. And I go, I wouldn't do that. That was my friend. And he says, yeah, it's the one when he was being arrested by the Italian police. I go, yeah, it explains why he got drugged away because they knew he was a pharmacist.
Like, get out of here. They get worse. If your mates can't take the piss out of you after an incident like that, who can?
Cheers. I can't wait to visit Europe. We'll have a IPA in the proper British pub.
An Indian pale ale, yeah. It's my brother-in-law's favourite, an IPA.
Perfect. I'm buying.
I'm a white wine man, as you know.
All right, no problem.
But I should sit there still, share a bag of peanuts, mate.
Yeah,
You're over. Let me know.
Fish and chips. Fish and chips.
Take you for that.
It's a date.
Are we live or
Yeah, after show.
after show?
We were talking about Arwen swimming in fish oil.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. Anyway, yeah, I took an unusual dose of it. And I don't know, it's weird because I've been having like a bit of a headache in the last couple of days, also from the cold, and that just really helped. So, and I dreamed a little bit stronger than usual in a good way.
About fish or
No,
what are you taking?
fish oil capsules.
Omega-3s and 6 oils.
Sorry?
Omega-3 and 6 oils, or
Yeah.
or just straight cod liver, or
No. Hold on. Let me get the bottle.
Why not just eat fish?
that's what I always think. Fish is a great source of fish oils. Recent studies show.
Oh, I love that one.
Eat a bunch of fish sticks.
It's Royal Green. That's a brand, fish oil, and it's there's. I think it's a combination.
What fish family does that come from?
Omega-3. I think it's mostly omega-3.
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, but it's a good brand. It's organic.
If it's Arwen, do you eat fish?
No.
That's organic.
Yeah, but I don't like eating fish
Why not?
because I don't like it. Never did. I don't really like the taste of it, and I think they're creepy.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's too identifiable.
Meaning what?
Meaning, I just don't like eating fish, even from when I was very young.
You don't have to stare at its eyes while you eat it.
Yeah, and I think that's creepy.
Well, don't eat the eyes.
Stop it.
I just said it for the hell of it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, but I am not against eating fish. Just don't overfish, and actually all for fish cultivation and progressing at that industrial wise or whatever. I need fish oil. It's very good for me. And I'm vegetarian next to that. So I already take fish oil pretty much every day, but just the minimum. And yesterday I thought, okay, I'm going to take like 5 of them now. Bang. And it was good.
You're vegetarian, but you take fish oil.
Yep.
So you thought of? I think is it linseed oil? Has similar omega-3 properties.
No,
If you want to look at a vegetarian.
No, I think you're thinking of marrowbone jelly.
that pedigree chum.
Yeah, but look, I'm not like the vegan type. I'm not in it for the animal welfare. I have my wider views on that. I do all of this basically for my own health benefit, really. And I do like living animals as well. But yeah, they eat each other as well.
Well, I could tell you weren't that way because you have a leather jacket.
Yeah, I do.
Right.
That's what I missed then. Fair enough.
Oh, no, you missed a lot more. We had donut holes, 60-mile container and rumpus.
Yeah.
And the pilot with his nose up and down on us.
I love this summary, Dan.
Yeah, we had rumpus here in the panel. It was hilarious.
Is that what I saw a message saying he said he was going to behave? I assume he didn't.
No, rumpus will be rumpus.
Yeah.
Come on. That's why it's called rumpusing.
I think rumpus is the constant reminder that you need a container for that gas pressure, because when he opens his mouth, it's just a lot of gas.
Adam, he came in with the usual begging the fallacy. Nathan caught him on it and just got destroyed right there. And then he just went back to behaving like rumpus.
Oh, dear. I'll check that out later on. When's this? Who sat this show, is it? I'm sneaking off work, sort of thing. So I'll be dipping in and out as the phone rings. But I just better to come into the hangout when the show's not live.
Yeah, it's easier to get a word in.
Do we have any ballers in Discord that want to talk?
All of them.
I'm taking a few more off mute. And the pilot came back. Maybe he wants to talk now while it's quiet.
This is like the eye of the storm. It's Friday evening or Friday afternoon. What's going on?
I don't know.
They've given up. Once they heard, oh, their best response was a donut, they all just says, we can't top that.
Oh, they may be right.
Oh, should we ask John to get his clinky clankers out? Oh, ballers. Pull them out, John.
Share your pain.
Well, the airline pilot posted his dipping nose down video and live stream.
She crash landed.
The airline pilot thinks gravity is his autopilot.
If he's an airline pilot, I'm friggin' Mahatma Gandhi. This idiot, like 8 months ago, was on the same show. I think, it might have been longer than that. I think it was the time, it was right around Christmas, about a year ago, because that's when Nathan had all his problems with his channel. And Anthony was running some shows, and that airline pilot come on, right? We smashed everything that he said. It was so stupid. He had something like True North. It was something involving True North that I was laughing at him about. I can't remember because it was so long ago. So he made a video or something, and it was so stupid. I commented on it, and he deleted it or something. I can't recall, but this guy's a friggin' clown. He's in Brender material. Adam, is that you?
Yep.
Yep.
He's getting stuffed.
Get stuff!
I shall proceed to do so right now.
I just did, man. I had eggs over medium, toast, jelly, strawberry jam, bacon, and chocolate milk, ice cold. I'll tell you what, brother, it doesn't get any better than that.
I just had a Portuguese tart.
I got blueberries. Organic.
Is Nathan able to fix that end bit of the intro, John?
I had space time. I had donuts.
Not
Man.
We'll just have to roll what we got.
Not beaten yet.
But 10th man, are you sure that donut's not gonna lay too heavy on the stomach?
Good arrow.
Gravity.
Well, my stomach is the space in between.
All right, I'm ready.
Well,
but
we
they've
got
given
Tony
up.
B.
They've given up, Kiwi. They can't handle it today after Rumpus's 60-mile container and Brendan's.
I forgot to ask what was the argument about when Rumpus came in? Sorry.
60-mile high vacuum chamber.
There, he had a 60-mile high vacuum chamber. Where?
Yeah, he just wanted to have this hypothetical example and then say, yeah, see, Earth does that.
Oh, it was a hypothetical. Okay, so 60-mile high vacuum chamber. How wide was it?
Didn't say.
What color was the chamber?
Didn't say.
Hmm.
Nathan reminded them that it was a container, but he says, no, well, never mind that.
So he used the chamber as an analogy, a container, right?
Yeah.
So he got called on it. Too funny.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Was that it?
Well, there's a lot of
Yeah,
rumpusing
nothing.
as well. Do you want to hear about the rumpusing?
Hmm.
No, I experienced that one too many times. Thanks. I'd like to hear more. Oh. I'm sorry. Did I step on somebody? Go ahead. Hello? Is my
There
mic
was a
working?
feedback loop.
Hello? My mic
No, your
working?
mic just cut out.
Yes, it was a feedback loop. You were saying, John?
I'd like to hear more about the donut. So the question is, how much time is in a cubic meter of space? Is that the question?
Yes. And the
And the
answer was a donut. Hey, my answer yesterday was 3. Remember that?
No.
I'm sorry. Can somebody, straighten my path here? What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's the question.
Well,
Brenda
it
had
looks like the
related
rumpus is
T
sleeping.
to time in a math formula.
I think if you divide 5 by 0, it all makes sense. Why
No.
there is 3 donuts in an hour?
Well, the answer to that is undefined, just like Highlander's intelligence.
0 is not a divisible factor.
Not in the world of donuts. It is.
Well, the atheists think that everything came from 0.
Yeah, donut without flour, without a baker, without a cook.
So that was on the first show, right? But that's not, I can't review that because there's some sound, but I got to hear this donut stuff, man.
Yeah, I think it
It's
started
just
like
some Brenda
Nathan discussed
nonsense.
this, like about those questions, and I asked them again, I think, and then Brenda got like baited by that, so she came in, and she said that she has an answer to his question, and started arguing with Nathan, and she was saying something about time and being able to show time, and at the end she said that time is the hole inside of a donut.
I can't wait. Oh my goodness. Does she know I have people do thumbnails? Does she know that?
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait, man. Yeah, thanks. What number was that, by the way?
2-7, I believe.
1027?
Yep, 1027.
Yes, sir, I believe so.
All right.
Yeah, we got a full Discord panel in here. Be nice to run through some claims if anybody's got some.
The last episode was 1028.
Oh, pardon me,
Oh, what? It was
1028 there.
1028? Hold on. 1028?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Well, the last one, there's only... Yeah, so we still got to do the second episode today. So that was it.
No, it's
Thank you.
1027 today, and 19 minutes ago, 1029. 1028, sorry.
Oh, God.
Whenever he airs today's show, that's what it is.
It seems like
Come on,
Rumpus
Glover.
and Chocolate Saying and Sleeping Warrior are still in the other hangout.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
What? Where?
I've got something for Sleeping Warrior, too. You'll love it. it's a good parallel to his experiment.
See that? See, that's what happens when you allow them to beg the question. You're still talking to them.
Did you say bake the question?
Yeah, beg the question.
Bake the question, as in baking donuts.
Yeah, but if you're eating breakfast with John, it's bacon the question.
Don't
Yeah,
be deep now.
they can argue within the fallacy forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like a good debate, but the whole point is if the whole premise is wrong, call it out at the beginning and come up with some better points, or else you're just going to be talking to them for endless hours.
Right. Well, I guess in this stage of the debates in general, every time we are confronted with ballers that think they know a lot, that really want to do their thing on our shows, then it's always the question, okay, are we gonna let them do their thing to basically lure them into a trap of their own making, make them say silly things, or are you just gonna not tolerate that nonsense and kick them out?
Well, you can do both. You could allow them to beg the question because that's how they're going to start. Then you ask them to prove what they say rather than make up something. And then that's when they go silly. And then you end it right there. It's like going to a car dealer. You have a price in hand that you want to buy the car. You've already shopped around. You know you can get the car, say, for $15,000. And you say to the car salesman, look, I found the car I want. You have an identical copy of it. I can get it for 15. Will you sell it to me for 14.5? Give me a yes or no, or I'm going to go over there. And the guy comes back for 3 hours trying to make deals. No, just give me. It's ridiculous.
Okay. But what if you weren't talking about a flat earth related subject?
Pick one.
Ancient history, evolution versus creation, alternative conspiracy, psychological
Evolution,
programming, social engineering. There's
evolution. What's that?
so much.
What's evolution? That was a false dichotomy. And what's evolution?
False dichotomy?
Yeah, evolution and creation. That's a false dichotomy.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
What?
One is just wrong.
Why? Because
What's so false
evolution.
about it?
What? I'm going to tell you. Evolution doesn't and has never existed. That makes it a false dichotomy right there.
No, that just makes it false. It's still
No,
a
you
dichotomy.
still had two choices. You had a dichotomy. You had creation versus evolution, right? That's a false dichotomy if one doesn't exist.
Well, it's still being used, so maybe it is wrong, and I totally agree to that, but that doesn't make it a false dichotomy because it's still out there.
Really? So it doesn't exist, and it doesn't make two choices a false dichotomy. You need to rethink that.
Do you know what a true dichotomy is, Arwin?
Explain it to me.
A situation where you have literally only two choices, and it can only be one or other of those two choices. So that would be a true dichotomy. You know, you could also have a trichotomy, i.e. there's one of three choices and only one of those three choices are the outcome. So that would be a true trichotomy. But a false dichotomy is where one of the things isn't even real, so it can't be one of the options.
Right, but yeah, look, it's just I call it a dichotomy because it's relevant right now. The idea is still out there. It's still being discussed. Yeah, of course, one is wrong. I get that.
No, one doesn't
It's still
exist.
going on.
No, one doesn't exist. It's not that it's wrong. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't exist. It's still being put out there, though. And thus, we're going to be up against it. And that makes it a dichotomy. But
No, that's what.
there's no other options
That's what.
anyway.
No,
So
no,
there's
you're
no
missing.
other even tries.
You're missing the point, Arwen. The point
No.
is, okay, no.
Making
Great.
a point.
All right. Do you want me to explain, or is no your final answer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was hilarious, man.
Go ahead anyway, 10th man.
All right. Let me gather my thoughts. You're awesome, Marwin.
Oh,
All
if
right.
you go ahead.
So if one doesn't exist and it can't be demonstrated, it can't be put aside something that does exist that can be demonstrated and say it's a dichotomy and argued within that frame of reference. One doesn't exist. You have to pick something else to argue with creation, not something that doesn't exist.
Let me give an easy example. We're going to have three things. We're going to have a flying red dragon as number one. Okay, so flying red dragon. Number two is a convertible car. And number three is a hardtop version of the car. I'm using cars because 10th man used cars. So is it a true dichotomy to say that when you walk into the dealership, your choices are only, given that you're going to walk out with a car, is it a true trichotomy that your choices are flying red dragon, hardtop or soft top? Is that a true trichotomy, yes or no?
Or is it being presented as such? Is the dealer actually making that claim?
Yes, I'm saying to you as the dealer right now, your choices, given that on my showroom floor are only two cars, one has a soft top and one has a hard top, and the other isn't real, it's a dragon, but I say, which one would you like, sir? Because I'm going to assert this is a true trichotomy. You can pick one of the following: red dragon, hard top, or soft top. Is that a true trichotomy or a false trichotomy?
I'm going to be very pedantic with you on this and say, yes, it is true, because that option is given and the person can actually make that choice and then be fooled. But it is still there.
Okay, no, well, that's fair enough that you can make that answer. It is, however, wrong. That would be a false trichotomy. Equally, a true dichotomy would be the hard top versus soft top. And a false dichotomy would be hard top versus red dragon.
I don't know.
If I give you a false dichotomy of hard top or red dragon, you can't leave the showroom with one of those options. So it's not a true dichotomy. However, if you're definitely going to leave the showroom with a Ford Taurus hard top or soft top, because you're definitely buying a Ford Taurus, then you're going to leave with one or the other. That's a true dichotomy.
I don't know. This is not going anywhere.
It's not that hard, Arwen.
No, don't be like that.
I
get the point. This is about the angle of what is real. That's the anchor point for me. I'm just looking at, is there an option presented? And it's not relevant whether it's real. It's only if it's considered as an option. If it's there.
No. As with the red dragon example, evolution, you're not going to offer that as an example. It's the red dragon in my example. You can't pick it. It's not even defined.
Right. There's still people, unfortunately, out there that believe it, though, whatever it is.
And there's people that believe. Hold on. And there's people that believe in red dragons. So can I leave the dealership with the red dragon?
I doubt it. Maybe some really weird people that would really believe that, but no, I think the belief about evolution being real is probably a lot more common, but it's also people that just don't pay a lot of attention. So,
sure, but I can substitute red dragon for anything that people do believe in, like ghosts, hard top, soft top, or poltergeist. Is that a true trichotomy? Well, obviously not. You can't walk out the showroom with a poltergeist.
I'm not gonna go there. You don't want to know. But
No, but I'm offering you the choice though. So does that make it a true dichotomy? A trichotomy, rather?
it depends.
No, it doesn't. It's
A
just a false
poltergeist can be
trichotomy.
real. Yeah. Experienced myself.
Anyway, evolution's undefined. It's not a thing. It's not an actual thing that you
I
can.
agreed to that. Never disagreed. This is
Okay,
Let's
well,
dismember a baller.
Just the conclusion then is then John's point is it's a false dichotomy, and he's right.
I disagree, but I agree with the content of the actual material in the
Arwen, in the physical world, we're talking.
I don't know.
Unlike
In the
ballers,
physical world. you
unlike
don't know.
ballers, Arwen hasn't got some underlying
I
point
have
that he needs
another
to make at the end
understanding
of this.
about what false dichotomy means, but
Yeah, but you brought poltergeist.
it's the
which is
first
a-
time anybody confronted me with this, so I don't know. I'd have to look it up, I guess.
I'm
False
contrasting
dichotomy.
to something in the spiritual realm versus the physical realm. In the physical realm,
Dichotomy, first, you got to understand what a true dichotomy is, right? There's only two choices. Now, it can be compromised. To have a false dichotomy, it can be compromised in two ways: one to the negative, one to the positive. That is to say, in your example, one of your dichotomies doesn't exist, so that makes it a false dichotomy, and then it can go the other way. If you say two choices, but there's actually more than two choices, then that's also a false dichotomy too.
Yeah,
Got it?
I qualified my example. I said there's only two cars on my showroom floor, and you are going to walk out with a car. So you're right.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I give my view on it?
I just want to add to that. Yes, you can, Arwen. Just let me just add to that because I gave the example. So, yes, correct. If you were to walk into a dealer and there isn't, as in my example, only two cars and you must leave the dealer with the car, and they say, well, which you're going to pick, the hard top or the soft top, and you came in for a minivan, that's a false dichotomy because there's a third choice that's just not being detailed. But in my specific example, there's only two cars in the dealership and you're going to leave with a car and you're being offered a red dragon.
Well, I get that, and technically, I don't disagree. You're not technically incorrect. As for the meaning of the word false dichotomy, how I understood it, might be wrong, might be too niche or something. How I always seen it is that it is a false dichotomy is when you get presented with two options that are both false, even though there might be a correct option out there. That is how I've always seen a false dichotomy, when you're literally getting only false choices.
I don't know
The
about
truth
that.
is not among the choices. That's how I've learned it.
It could work either way.
that just means you're being tricked.
Now listen, dichotomy means two, right? So if you have three or more, or one or less, is a false dichotomy. In other words,
Arwen's example works, but with the secondary example that was given by QE. So if you've got Globe Earth versus spinning space pizza, Flat Earth Society, that's a false dichotomy where both choices are false.
Yes,
So,
that I would totally agree with that.
However, it's not being explained that there's a third option, which is screw your models. Well, no, that's serious. That's the third option. We don't live on a model. So that,
Right.
in your example of having two false examples being held up, so that you can pick one or other of the false examples, yeah, that's also a false dichotomy. But in the same way, QE also explained that if there's a third choice that's just not being detailed, and you're giving only the two choices, regardless if one is real or one isn't, then it's just the false paradigm. It's the false choice that makes it a logical fallacy.
Right. Okay, well, I thought that was called a false dichotomy, specifically when only options are given that are both wrong. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bit more expansive, that's all.
Okay.
But I love it. I like talking
Learn
about logical
something every
fallacies.
day.
It's great. False dichotomy is an important one to understand.
I never thought about if both the choices were fairy tales. I never thought about that one. I guess that would be if it was couched as your only two choices. I guess that would be a false dichotomy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You go-
I guess another emphasis on the word false, like a double emphasis, basically. Because
Part of
it
my
is a
long
dichotomy
spiel.
of falsehood.
Part of my long spiel when I'm talking about them holding up two models in false dichotomy. Well, globe Earth, presupposition of an R value, and flat disk, pancake, whatever, in a vacuum, flying up at 9.8 meters per second. Well, that's two false models. And they're just getting you to pick their false model over your false model when they debunk your false model and get you to pick between the two with a dichotomy that's false. I remember the first time I heard that word. It was on a show called Red Dwarf, season 4, episode 3. With no, I'm serious. It was. I think the episode was called something like Hudson, and it's about a replacement robot for the ship's robot called Crichton, and essentially they give him a paradox to shut him down. So they're led to believe that there's a place called Silicon Heaven. You know, where do all the calculators go? Well, they go to Silicon Heaven. And that keeps them sane. It keeps the robots sane. But the robot that's getting replaced learns how to lie and lies to the new android and says there's no such place as Silicon Heaven. And it sends the robot nuts and he shuts down. And a little message plays. And it says, a metaphysical dichotomy has forced this unit to overload and shut down. A new unit will be sent out shortly.
Dude, but
Wow.
you keep on bringing this up. What is this bloody red dwarf?
You
The Red
don't
Dwarf.
know Red Dwarf? Are you serious?
No.
A Red Dwarf is based on a brief history in time. So it's just a situation comedy set on a mining ship. And the general basic plot is that one of the crew steals a load of hallucinogenic mushrooms and drugs his roommate. So he gets punished and sent outside. No, he gets sent into stasis, which is suspended animation. So you're already picking up the Einsteinian. I don't need to highlight it. Anyway, he's set in suspended animation and no longer applicable in time. Anyway, as a result of him being put into suspended animation, the roommate fails to fix a drive plate, which wipes out the entire crew and leaves the ship covered in radiation. And the pilot of the ship, which is a computer called Holly, just lets them drift for 3 million years. So when this guy's revived, Dave Lister, he's basically the last human being alive. Meanwhile, his cats, which he picked up on Ganymede, have been breeding in the ship's hold for 3 million years and evolved into something that resembles humans, just with slightly longer teeth and a bit more self-obsessed. So that's the cat. And they've also rescue a robot called Crichton, which is just an android, a futuristic android servant, programmed to wait on them hand and foot. And that's basically it. But the entire plot is all based on, what's his face, the guy in the wheelchair's book.
Oh,
Stephen
was that
Hawking.
his? That's what I was going to say. You said a brief history in time. Was that Hawking or was it Davies that wrote that?
I thought it was Hawking. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Hawking.
I'm asking the question. I always get that mixed up, but I know the book.
Yeah, so it's all based on that. So they were relatively new principles or descriptions at the time, and that's what was taken and turned into a TV series. And it's based in space with, you know, a lot of the concepts that came on there were directly lifted from the book. So they've got wormholes, white holes, black holes, bending of time, parallel universes, you name it.
Right. I just looked it up. It's Stephen Hawking. Yep.
Yeah.
John, you got to watch the reverse time universe
Yeah, I was
episode first.
Gonna say,
there you
Ollie,
go.
my favourite is backwards.
That's my favourite too. So that's based on a concept also described in that book called the Big Crunch. So if the universe is expanding constantly, what's your question? What's it expanding into? Let's just brush past that. Eventually, once it's expanded as much as it can, it will start to contract and time will run in reverse. So essentially they go through I can't remember I think they call it a wormhole in that instance. There's always some sort of hole that they're travelling through. Anyway, they go through and end up on Earth in the present day for us, and everything's running backwards, which culminates in the cat character taking a reverse dump, going into the bushes, and you can imagine.
Is this now? This is British, right?
Yeah, very.
Okay, that's
The,
why
the main
'cause I've
character's a
never-
Scouser. He sounds like Anthony.
Is it syndicated?
Syndicated? What do you mean, syndicated?
I mean, like
I
The
don't know.
Office, where they did a rip-off version.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there was ever an American spin-off with American characters.
Do you have this taped? Is it on DVD? Is it something I can get a hold of?
Yeah, you just need to visit what we call a car boot sale, and you'll find them on VHS cassette in many car boot sales.
I don't have any VHS players, man.
Hey, what's it called again?
Red
Dwarf.
Dwarf.
Oh, Red Dwarf. Okay, got it.
Every time you say it, I think of Red Dawn.
I mean, it's got the Holly Computer from the first couple of series is a stand-up comic, and the second main character, or main character if you like, was the main voice artist on Spitting Image. So have you ever heard of Spitting Image? It was a satire of British political whatever current affairs, but done with puppets.
No.
Okay, well, the vast majority of the voices for that particular show, which anybody British will be familiar with, Spitting Image, well, that was done by the Rimmer character. Most of them are his voices on Spitting Image. A lot of people don't know that.
Chris
Anyway.
Barry.
Chris Barry, yes, correct.
So this was a long time ago? Was this in the 80s?
John, I've put you the link in the Hangout chat there for it.
Okay, thanks.
It's on YouTube.
Adam, on my browser in the Opera, it's showing that video is unavailable.
I live for British TV.
You know what Craig Charles does now? I know he did Robot Wars, but he's now a DJ. He's a DJ. He's done it in my town a few times. Yeah. Comes to DJ in my town. Craig Charles is just mad. You're like, what? He's like not there to be anything to do with Red Dwarf. He's there to be a DJ.
Hey, that's a bogus video, Adam.
It worked on my. Well, just type in Red Dwarf, and you'll surely get a link that's available in the US.
YouTube should be full of it. I'll try to link you up with something good.
I got the top 10. I got the top 10 moments, Red Dwarf.
Yeah, well, that'll
So-
give you an idea.
Here,
That
the
will
whole
be-
series is on YouTube.
Top 10 moments of Nathan Oakley show or better. What happens when the absence of ballers? We're talking about Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Well, then, just to summarize that, today we had the Brenda, then Rumpus, then the pilot, and they all get aboard on that plane and they crash together. They're falling like flies today.
I can't wait to the New Year's show where we could play some of these top 10 statements from ballers.
They had a Red Dwarf US pilot, but okay, I think I got all of them. It says it was 43 episodes.
Yeah, that sounds
Is that
about
pilot
right.
the guy with the nose up or down?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
43. Right. Sorry about that. 10th. We'll get back to the brain dead ballers here in a second. We're trying to solve the Red Dwarf issue.
You're probably going to be in a lot better mood in the coming week.
I've never seen a reverse dump.
Enjoy it, John, but just remember that space is a fake medium. It can't.
All right. Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It is pure. No, I hate to say this because it was my favourite shows growing up as a kid, but it's pure BBC propaganda for space.
And just a disclaimer: donuts are a real thing, and they're tasty.
They don't represent space
They
time.
lie heavy on the stomach.
Yeah, there was plenty of donuts in Red Dwarf. They were always travelling through some giant donut.
So
Don't play the music. I'll get a copyright strike. God damn it!
Hey, sorry about that. I turned it off real quick. So when I hit the first episode, it said not available, right? So I went somewhere else, and then it popped up.
That theme tune. It was one of the first things I learned to play on the piano. Yeah.
You'll like the bit on orbital mechanics, John, when Lister plays pool with planets. That's like I say, it's totally littered with everything, isn't it, to support the supposition. Like I say, you've got the orbital mechanics bit. That is good though. Trick shot. Pots it into a black hole, doesn't he?
Yeah.
White hole. White.
Is it a wire?
Yeah, a white hole spewing time back into existence.
Yes, it is. White holes, they spew.
Can we get possibly Chocolate and Anthony to come off with Rumpus and tell us the shenanigans they're hearing or putting up with?
I'll wait for the book.
Since no ballers are willing to come on the show.
Do you know the words to the theme tune? Adam?
Let me fly far away from you.
No, wrong.
Wait, goldfishes.
No, wrong.
Go on, man.
It's cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere. I'm all alone, more or less. So let me fly far away from here. Fun in the sun. I want to die shipwrecked and comatose, drinking fresh mango juice, goldfish shoals, nibbling at my toes. Fun in the sun. Fun in the sun.
Good early training in their bullshittery, Nathan.
I must have listened to those lyrics about 1,000 times minimum.
No wonder they're mad. We're tearing their conceptual world down.
Hey, are we live?
No, we're recording though. This will go out on Sunday.
This is an after show?
Technically, this is debate 1028. That's what will get labelled on Sunday. Not that we've had much baller debate. We've been talking about Red Dwarf for the last 10 minutes.
Well, I'm looking in. I just popped into Discord, and they're all in the live stream. Do you want them in the after show or no?
Yeah, kick them to the after show if you want. Take them all off mute.
Because I'm looking at people, and they're all, the ones I clicked were all on mute. 1 second. All right, let me do it correctly this time. So I'll kick them to the after show, and you won't hear it.
We'll miss the Quantum Eraser song.
Say that again, the one.
We'll miss the QE song. Ring, 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 ring.
Oh, someone's causing feedback. Someone's causing feedback. Hello? I'll have to mute that line. Someone needs to sort their feedback out. Really good.
Somebody beg the question.
You guys want to see the new Ballbusters theme?
Did you get the pick?
Well, this just...
Wait, I'm in the middle of a new rendering.
Oh my god, QE. Hello. Causing audio chaos.
John is constantly feeding back. John, put up some headphones, man.
We got
You guys got a good rap beat going there.
QE, I don't know what you've done to your desk, but change it back because you're causing feedback every time you open your mic.
I didn't think you liked rap music, John.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, but you've got a major problem. Oh, God.
It's not me. I turned everything off.
You're in Discord as well. That's what the problem is. You're in two places at
I think the
once.
Terminator broke the
No,
internet.
I'm not.
You are. I can see you're in Discord. Right, just because I'm recording this.
No, I'm not. I got out of it immediately.
You're in Discord. You need to mute and deafen in Discord.
Oh God.
Chocolate, you live.
Hey, what's up, guys?
It was all QE's fault. He was in QE. He was in Discord and Hangouts. That's what the problem was.
Choco, you live.
Sorry, man. I got out of Discord that kept me in there, man. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
It wouldn't let you go.
All right,
Look,
ballers.
the one's desperately trying to say something. Go ahead, the one.
Chocolate, you live after this rumpus thing.
Yeah, I decided to stick around and hear some more nonsense. Get my fill of nonsense for the day. So Riley and him are still going at it.
Oh my god.
It's kind of fun.
Where?
And the old hangout. Remember, there was an old hangout. Rumpus came in and started
in
being
that one?
Rumpus. Yeah,
It's
we were
still going?
there. Yeah,
What?
it was me, Riley, and Rumpus. Yeah.
Hilarious.
So what happened?
What do you think happened? Rumpus is in there being Rumpus. Still trying to understand relative density. Apparently, he thinks that that a gold, if you drop a gold bar, it should go up because the air above it is less dense than the air below it. Not realizing the actual gold bar itself is actually heavier than the fucking air. Like, I don't know what's wrong with this guy.
No, he does have a fair point though. He does, because his question is, why does it move in that particular direction, even though it's relative and opposite the other direction? Why up and down? And I've got the answer. I know why it does it. It's
Okay.
We
because
went over this months ago.
what?
Hold on.
We went over this months ago. I had a little blurb on Skype that explained this. I thought this was over.
Really?
Well, let's
Yeah.
just hear it anyway. Go ahead, Anthony.
Well,
ahead,
hang on.
sorry.
Do you want to? If you can do it quick and concise, John. Do you want to explain how it's over?
I got to find it, but go ahead.
Okay, so what I said to him was, because what he said was like he had the Earth in a random direction, and he said what governs it into that direction, and then I realized what it was, and because he let me have my rules, they were my rules, right? I added one of the rules which basically said it's from the perspective of the observer. In other words, the eyeballs of the observer. So like what we've got on screen for John's picture there, he's got the horizon in the middle of the picture. I get my direction back when the minute I do it from the perspective of the observer, rather than from the third person perspective of God, the omnipotent position above, because nobody can do that. We don't have that. Everything's relative to the observer. The minute I do that, I get my up and down back, and he doesn't want to give it me.
Yeah, he's just a funny guy, man. I don't.
He can argue like a motherfucker though, can't he?
But the point of the gold bar going up, like that's the point that I don't understand. Like why? I've heard it before. I've heard ballers ask why. Like so, if somebody jumps out of a plane, and obviously the air above the plane is less dense than the air below the plane, why does the person go up? And it's like, but you're not talking about the air above the plane compared to the air below it. You're talking about the density of the person compared to the air.
Yeah, but
Right,
what they're
okay,
saying is,
okay,
why is it in that
I'm going to do this with you
orientation?
now. Sorry to interrupt. Right, I've got this gold bar in front of me. What's it supposed to be doing?
Well, the way Rumpus had it, right, let me share screens and I'll show you how we did it. And at first I thought he had a valid point. I was going to say, oh shit, let me share screens and you can give me the answer. But I'm happy with my answer. So, oh
Found
shit.
it. So after he's done, I found it. So whenever you're ready, let me know.
Okay, just bear with me, Malik. Right, so what
Well,
Rumpus was saying,
Go ahead.
just give me 5 seconds while I do it. Where's my fucking map? There it is. Right, so Rumpus is saying we have a mass and we have and we give it a value. So we'll just say the value was 6 density, right? And then it's in a medium, and we'll give the medium 8.5, right? Which way is the mass going to go? And I'd say, well, it's going to go, it's going to displace against the opposing value. So it's going to go in like 6. One's going to go that way and the other one's going to go that way. So 6 is going to be displacing 8.5 is more dense than it. So it's going to go in that direction. But then Rumpus goes, okay, so if I then zoom out And then he's got a picture of Earth over here. And then he goes, how does it work now? And then immediately from that reference point, it doesn't work, does it? And it looks like he's got me. So I said, no, that's not all right. I said, these are my rules. I said, let's do it my way then. I said, put your horizon line in, sky above it, and then you have land below it like that. And then basically there's my up and down relative to the observer. So from the observer's perspective, I get my direction back, right? And that is it. And he doesn't want to give it me because he just doesn't want me to have me up and down, but I've got it because you don't have a third person perspective of yourself, do you? You can't be in space looking down on Earth to give it the way he says it because we can't get high enough. So why should he be able to beg that question? So I just brought him back down to Earth and said, do it from the perspective of the observer, not from the third person perspective.
He's basically talking about space Muppet vision.
Hold on. Do what? You said gold bar. I've still got my gold bar in front of me. What am I doing with it? What's it supposed to be doing?
Okay, so his argument was when you have your gold bar, let's do it back again. He said, where's my, for some reason, there it is. So paint stick. He says, right, so you got your gold bar and it weighs a value, right? And then it's in the medium of air. And you let go of it, which way is it going to go from this perspective?
What? Whoa, hold on. What are you talking about? It's in the medium of air. My gold bar is not suspended in air. What are you talking about?
That's what he's asking. So when you let go of it,
what do you mean when I let? Hold on. So first I've got to pick it up.
Yeah, you've got to pick it up.
Oh, yeah, right. He accepts that you got to pick it up.
Hold on. So, which way did it go when we picked it up?
Up.
Conceptual.
Up? Well, so therefore it's going up and then going back down to where it came from. So we don't have gold bars suspended in air that we need to attribute the downward force to unless we pick them up.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but
he doesn't describe it that way.
You're still missing it. This is easily solved.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Go on, John. Easily solve it for us.
What?
But
I will share my screen. Let me solve it. It's just a simple issue of direction. Don't sound so downtrodden. It's gonna all become clear here in a moment. All right, we ready?
Yeah.
All right, please don't convolute topics. First of all, let's define absolute and relative. Absolute, viewed or existing independently and not in relation to other things, not relative or comparative. So I got two definitions of relative: considering in relation or in proportion to something else, or being judged or measured in comparison with something else. So directions: east, south, or west can only be identified in relation to north. Left can only be identified in relation to right, and vice versa. Forward can only be identified in relation to backwards, and vice versa. Up can only be identified in relation to down, and vice versa. Magnetic north is the only absolute direction. Can you identify east, west, and south without magnetic north? Nope. Can you identify magnetic north without east, west, or south? Yep, it's absolute. Can you have forward or without backward? Nope. Can you have left without right? Nope. Can you have up without down, or vice versa? Nope. We'll skip the gravity part here. Here's the rub. A, is there a bias down towards Earth for objects that are more dense than the surrounding atmosphere, i.e. relative density? Yeah. Is there a bias up towards the sky for objects that are less dense than the surrounding atmosphere, relative density? Yeah. Never a violation of these two scenarios in the history of man. We good so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the cause of the bias of the more dense or less dense objects to move towards the earth and sky, respectively? Density? So density causes more dense objects than the surrounding atmosphere to fall towards earth. Therefore, based on this last statement, density causes relative density, which in turn results in more dense objects to fall and less dense objects to rise. This statement is somewhat problematic because it means density causes relative density. It's kind of circular. Does density cause density, relative or otherwise? No. Isn't the question, here's the rub. Why is the more dense medium atmosphere next to the Earth's surface? Right? It's a paradigm. It's tantamount to asking, why does entropy always increase in nature? You get it?
Yeah, but I think he'd have a lot to say against that, though.
He wouldn't. There's nothing to say against this. It's iron. It's airtight.
I will explain it in another fashion, even. But
You
you're
explain it
correct.
in another fashion after it's over right here.
Yeah, but I brought up these
Go
points.
argue for 45 minutes. Thanks.
What was that for 45 minutes?
Go argue over this for 45 minutes when I just ironed it out right here.
I know what you've done is applied the same thing I did in a different way. When I pinned it to the person, then it would basically you got your up and down back. But when he wants to make it not pinned to the person, so what he was arguing was, but in my example, which way does it go? And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't happen in real world. What you're describing is a hypothetical, conceptual description of something that doesn't exist.
A conceptual medium that excludes the Earth realm as we know it.
He was doing it from space, and obviously nobody can get to space.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There is no location known where relative density is not in effect. Might be there, who knows? But it's not known at this point.
Nathan's being real quiet. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I always say it's because of the nature of the realm. So the dense simply goes down and the less dense goes up. That's how the spectrum of relative density, of the density spectrum, is divided. And that is what drives the matter, the masses, and their density to displace towards their equilibrium point if they have the maneuverability to do so.
Correct.
Glad I think
Am I right in saying that this got discussed at length with Dr. John D, and the conclusion was that, in the same way you've just said, it's kind of silly to try and ascertain the cause of this how-why question, because you're never going to establish it in the same way. You're never going to find out why your coffee always gets cold.
Exactly.
So, but the other conclusion was that it's a secondary effect from memory, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain that? I can't remember the explanation. I read through yours, Dr. John D's, and Sleeping Warrior's notes in this regard, but because I wasn't involved in the conversation, it hasn't cemented itself in my brain. So,
yeah, I can't remember it too well either, but it was a secondary effect of. Oh, goodness gracious. We're talking about entropy as a force, I think it was.
That was it. So somebody was trying to say, well, is this just entropy? And the answer is no, it's a secondary effect.
Yeah.
So to just say it is just the effect of entropy would be incorrect. But it is, however, a secondary effect of entropy.
Yeah, Adam was there.
Well,
Adam, do you
say it was a physical manifestation as a secondary effect of a result of the natural law that it will follow the entropy, and the entropy resulted in the equilibrium establishment with regards to density and buoyancy.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, Nathan. Sorry.
Hold on. The entropy force is basically only applicable to situations where an equilibrium hasn't been found yet. That's when that force really becomes apparent. Because in equilibrium situation, entropy has already happened as much as it could in that state, or at that level. Right?
Yeah, but is entropy really a force or is it an effect?
Oh, here we go.
It's the same. We're talking about how and why. We're not talking about a cause and effect. Did we just cover this 20 seconds ago?
Entropy really is the thing, though. We do see it.
Yeah.
Right.
You're asking, what is the cause of entropy? But that's a crazy question. If I give you a circumstance that describes or gives you a situation where entropy is occurring, why does heat always flow to cold? What's the cause of that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just like asking.
Hold on,
why
I don't want
do
Sleeping
we
Warrior to
experience
answer.
time?
I want Sleeping Warrior to struggle to answer. Why does hot always flow to cold?
Well, that was the same thing I said to what's his face? Rumpus. I said, why does it always do it in this direction? And he was arguing, well, tell me the direction in this context. And then he did it in space. And I'm like, But when you do that, then you don't have a direction, but that's a conceptual medium that doesn't even exist, as far as I'm concerned.
I appreciate you're representing his stupidity when he's got everything moving towards the centre of the mass of Earth. But that's not what I'm asking. Can you establish the cause? What actually is the thing that made it happen? When I say your coffee always gets cold, providing the air around it's colder, obviously.
But it does. But it doesn't always get cold.
This is pretty funny. Hold on, this is pretty funny because this question was put to Rumpus in my Rumpus debate in 2016. Exactly.
Hey, Tony.
It doesn't always get cold. It's relative to where you place the cup.
Yeah, as long as the air around it's colder, I did qualify that.
Where is this Rumpus hangout? Has it been
That's the thing. What if the area is all? It's never gonna.
Hold on a second. Did he Rumpus me the whole time?
No. He just asked his question. He's now asking it again because he thought there was a gap. That's fair enough. So you're saying, I did qualify it. I said, providing the air around it's colder, but that shouldn't really need qualifying. Obviously, I'm glad I did now. But obviously, by using the words coffee cup, there's an implication that it's a cup of coffee about to be drunk, as opposed to a vessel that's containing a liquid that happens to be coffee, surrounded by 110 degrees centigrade steam. That's not contextualized when you say coffee cup. But even though that's the case, I assumed somebody might be a smart ass, and I said, providing the air around it is colder. So I did qualify that, just in case somebody decides to be a smart ass. But there we go. Hope that clears that up.
Yeah, sorry to divert away.
Yeah, but you could put it on a hot plate, and the hot plate will keep it hot.
Hold on.
And the air around it will be cold.
Oh my God! You just can't help it, can you? I start talking, and then you start talking over me, right? Can't help it. You can't do it.
The reason, QE, is because now we've found something, fairly base and mundane to argue about. And it's about the level these fuckwits come in and start arguing with us. When we're talking about coffee getting cold, they've got a lot to say about it. When we ask them about how the sky could possibly be a vacuum.
Yeah. That's
so, back to the question put to Anthony. Why does heat flow from hot to cold?
I don't know. It just does.
Yeah, it's a non sequitur question. It just does is not an answer. I said why.
I don't know.
That I know. I'm not putting you up against the wall, Anthony.
Sorry.
It's not. The question is a non sequitur. How? Oh my God.
It just needs the comparison now. In the same vein, you saying, why does something less dense always go, relative to me, up? And from its position, why are things less dense going down? Well, you can't answer that question. You can't tell me the cause of that, basically.
Right,
and you
the
can't.
question is, Mel.
Nathan, I wrote a poem. Would you read it out for me, please?
We're talking about relative density disequilibrium versus gravity, and you want me to read a poem?
Yeah.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Oh, come on. I wrote it for you.
I don't care about your infatuation with me. We're talking about gravity and the lies that we've been told.
You have a really thick accent, so a lot of people wouldn't understand if I read it out, but you're good at these things, so I was hoping you could read it out for me.
You've asked me that, and I've said no. And I've given you the reason.
Oh.
Did you want to summarise, QE?
Not really.
Me neither.
The whole argument with I thought I just went over this, and it all boils down to the answer is more law-like, and it can't be answered, right? It just is. That's it. I know I went through it fast, but you got it on tape, right?
Yeah. No, perfect. I do remember you going through it a couple of times before, in terms of relative directions and magnetic north. But it's not new, but...
I put a lot of work into this poem, Nathan. I'm really disappointed.
Yeah, I would imagine so, infatuated chap.
There's a time and a place, though, and this is not the right time.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
It's all about flat Earth and how, you know, you can be deceived and...
Let's take a vote. Who wants to hear Chris's poem?
I
Yeah,
can't
I
read
do,
out because
I do.
I get nervous, and like I said, my accent's really thick. My mic's not the best, so like I'd like Nathan or Quantum to.
Go ahead, put it in live stream. Put it in live stream. Let me evaluate it before you say anything. Is that fair? I'm not censoring you, but in a way, I am censoring it because we know the mental status of you globetards. All right, give me a moment.
Yeah, you might cut a bit too close to the bone if you start talking about depressed fundies, so watch your step.
It didn't start off well. Elder sister vomits blood. Lovely.
Ew. Sounds like somebody's trying to express their psychotic rage.
That's about right.
Continue, John. It gets better.
You need to be institutionalized. I'm not reading this.
Come on, read out for me, man.
Get help.
You got off
Yeah,
the good stuff.
seriously, It's creepy. Go away.
But it's about
We don't care. It's
my
creepy.
struggle
Go away.
with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Can you see it, Arwen?
No.
Read it out, Arwen.
No, we don't
know,
want your
Chris.
bloody psychotic rage poetry, please.
Okay, John, can you finish reading it?
I already said get help.
I know, but after you read.
Okay.
Oh, that was beautiful.
John, man, you read the first
Let
verse.
it
You may
go,
as well
buddy.
read the.
Let it go.
This is weird, Chris.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. Anyway, we would like you to share your pain, though. We appreciate you think you live on a spinning ball flying through a sky vacuum, Chris. We can help you with that. Let us help you.
Yeah, I just wanted my poem read out, man.
Don't
I put a lot of work into it.
Try not to focus on the losses. Let's get you a win. Let's get you to see reality. The sky is not a vacuum. They lied to you.
Zanuck has an answer
Man,
to why heat moves from hot to cold. Just want to let you know. He said
poem
it's a simple
especially for you guys to read it out because I put a lot of work into it.
Are you drunk?
I say again, Zanuck has an answer to why does heat move from hot to cold? Isn't this one of the most simple questions in physics? So just want to let you know. I don't know if he's in here.
It's the why.
Yeah, he's
That's the
definitely-
problem. You're asking why. I mean, if you say what would describe that effect of heat flowing from hot to cold, well, that's entropy increasing. But why? That's a whole different kettle of fish. He can't give you the answer. I mean, it was nice that when you asked Sleeping Warrior, he just said, I don't know. It's just brutally honest immediately, so you can move on swiftly.
Yeah, that's like asking why and how is a bread box rectangular, true or false?
Right. Or why do we experience time? You know?
Hold on. I think I might have an
It's
answer
just
to that.
part of how things work.
Can you ask that again, QE?
Yes. Why is a bread box rectangular? True or false?
The answer is 17.
Donut.
Wait, no, it's pie.
Oh, I think Owen's right.
Did you say 17?
Yeah, I did it. Both pastry and numerical.
Yeah.
Triglycerides.
Just need to pop back over to the tart area. This thing on?
Yeah, it's on.
I got it.
Hello.
If we bring up some really basic arguments, because last time we got a whole load of people when we were talking about coffee cups, that's when people want to put their 2 penny with him, man. That's when they've got something to say. We need to make it a lot more simple.
We got a donut now.
I'm just thinking, rather than space, time, or Coriolis effect, which one of the housekeeping questions is like simple, but still has a deep-seated fundy belief attached to it?
Radius.
Axial rotation.
That's Coriolis. R
Radius.
value.
But it's so easy to disprove it because of the consequences. Doesn't mean that they can't perpetually stay confused over it on purpose, of course. Also known as Coriolis
Yeah,
confusion.
that's what it does, though. Unless you cut it off at the knees, which we've started doing, and going, nah, sod you, you're not begging the question. Did you were here yesterday? Were you here yesterday, QE, when we did that with Zanuck?
What's that? Say it again.
Zanuck came in and wanted to argue Coriolis, and I just said no. Your examples start with you assuming Earth spinning, and I'm not going to let you do it, and just basically
Yay,
refused.
that's the way to deal with Coriolis.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
you'd be proud, Anthony. I just asked.
I was here. Yeah, I was here. I was proud for a second, but I take a lot of pride in my begging the question fallacy. You know, after they beg the question, coming back with the actual answers to put them in a vice. So, I'm kind of torn.
No, I get it. I said this to the audience about a week ago. If it wasn't for you, let's take it away from you a second, QE. Let's just use Anthony. So Anthony's begging the question of gravity and arguing within the fallacy or curve calculator, whichever. And without doing that, you don't appreciate how the magic trick works. So yeah, it's not, I've said this as well, it's not that we're never going to end up with somebody weaseling an assertion of Coriolis deviation into an argument and us having to unpick it. In other words, we have to still appreciate how to argue against Coriolis within the fallacy. Mm-hmm. But I still want the audience to appreciate that no, all arguments for spinning or curvature start with the presupposition of spinning or curvature. So once, you still need people to appreciate that the whole thing's just a complete... It's a farce to even be arguing about it because it's a begging the question fallacy always from the off.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. It is. Yep.
Right. Oh, and by the way, to answer your earlier question, Nathan, what is the best, most straightforward housekeeping question? I think it's gas pressure without a container. I've realized that if you just get the implications of that enough, you can literally flat smack people really badly with that just by saying that, because they will first try to argue it and then think, oh, like gravity. But if they honestly go searching for the deepening the arguments, they will find out that there is no arguments for it, even within their modeling. I think that gas pressure without a container next to a vacuum of outer space, giant size, I think that is probably the best housekeeping question universally.
That wasn't his question, was it? What was his question exactly?
Well, regardless, I completely agree. But it does remind me that now you're both here, I would like to do those 10-minute shows that are focused on a discussion about the housekeeping questions and their development, one question at a time, nice and concise. But we've still not arranged it.
Right. I forgot all about it.
I didn't forget about it. I just, just consciously wasn't bringing it up because I didn't have time to actually do anything about it.
So you have 4 more hours?
No. Well, I mean, we'll hopefully round out and figure out where now, and because it's not a live show, I'm more than happy to talk shop. When can we do it?
You're in charge, man.
Okay.
Can I just say, guys, I need to interrupt rudely. Danny Faulkner has cited Blue Marble Science's gas pressure without a container video for demonstrating. Yeah. Honest to God.
No way. Put it on. Have we got a screen? We've got to get this on screen capture.
This is horrendous. Right. So you guys see my screen right now, right?
Yeah.
Right. Look at this fucking dick. So somebody's put on this post, right? Membrane not required for air pressure, right? Unfortunately, many flat earthers, blah, blah, blah. And he basically begs the question with the gradients, right? Danny Faulkner, thanks for saying this again, but it won't do any good because some people aren't listening. I've just literally responded a minute ago. I am listening. I'm saying that you've no evidence this is possible. And I'm scrolling down the list and I've just found this fucking idiot here. There, Danny Faulkner. So Ivan says, membrane not required. Oh, wonderful. Please cite one experiment proving you can have pressurized gas next to an atmosphere without a container. Can't wait to see it. Danny Faulkner citing gas pressure without a container. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
just
they'll
it's small. Hold on.
always
Just because it's
fall
small,
for it.
can you click on it just so we can actually see where that video takes you? Just because it's quite small on my pit.
It's going to take us to Blue Marble Science.
Scroll down, just so you can see the title and the video. There
Blue
we
Marble
go.
Science, gas pressure.
Unbelievable. So let me get this straight. A PhD astronomer, when asked how you can have gas pressure without a container, has cited the redneck retard hillbilly blue balls demonstration of transferring gas pressure from a sealed container to gas pressure in a leaky container. That's his citation. Yeah. Unbelievable.
But for some reason, it's not playing the video. It's making me go through a 50-second. Oh, right. This is the advert before. Right. So, so blue.
So what he's done is he's turned on non-skippable ads only to make a bit more money out of the video.
Green bastard.
Watching it or something.
Yeah, it's 50 seconds. You can't turn it off.
That wasn't on the other day, was it? He's turned that on very recently.
It might just be coincidence. I have all of them ticked, so occasionally you'll get an unskippable ad on my channel. I've got all of them ticked. You know, I'm a total.
Yeah, but now 50 seconons. Sheesh.
Right.
Horrendous, isn't it?
Is it done?
Okay.
Anyway.
There we go.
Oh, nearly. 2 more seconds.
Oh, another one. It's in a loop.
It's in a loop.
Right, can somebody check this? What's going on here? Oh, there we go. There we go.
There we go. So, hold on. Let's just maybe direct your question. Everyone else be quiet. Can you just direct your question to Danny Faulkner, given that the pipe on screen is on screen?
Yeah, Danny, why are you citing Blue Marble Science's video, which is entitled Gas Pressure Without a Container, when there is clearly a pipe connecting to the measuring device that gives him the pressure that he's measuring? There has been a legitimate rebuttal to this, and it's on my channel. I released it just this afternoon because I had a feeling that you might actually do this, and it's entitled Blue Marble Science Does Not Comprehend the Meanings of Words. He applies malapropriism. Can I play it, Nathan? It's only a minute long. 2 minutes.
Get the audio.
Let's see if I can push the audio through.
No, it's not. It's on mute in the video.
Yeah, I know. Oh, was it playing then?
It's playing. You just need to unmute it. There you go. We don't have any sound, but just let it play through anyway. We don't have any audio from it, so you're going to have to narrate it, Anthony.
Oh, right. Hang on.
No, don't fiddle. Just narrate it. Just tell us what's happening.
All right, so I'm just showing that the pint glass is contained in the water, and by definition, it satisfies the definition of container because it's containing the water. But let's change the question slightly. Let's ask the same question, but in a different way. If I now pour out the water so that it's no longer got water in it, it's not containing any water, is it still a container if I do this? answers on a postcard. And then I just give the definition of container, an object for holding something. So in this case, it'd be water. So an object for holding water. If it's not holding water, it's not a container. But his pipe is containing the gas. By definition, it's a container. But they want it to be a pressurized container with a valve on it and a seal. Well, that would only be necessary in a vacuum, because if we had a vacuum, then you would need a container with a ceiling on it to contain the pressure. But we don't live in a vacuum. We must live in a containment, because you can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum without a container. So it's a container, Danny Faulkner. His setup's a container. I'm done.
Wow, that last part was very convincing with all the arrows and the F word. And
Okay, can I just get it in real quick, because I was in a meeting just listening to this nonsense, and all I have to say is wow.
It's like
Doctor, wow. Gas pressure without a container, and you cite this moron that's got 2 of them in his video. Doctor, really, doctor?
I like to point out it is difficult to get a man to understand something when his job depends on not understanding it.
yes, that's a good conundrum you just pointed at.
Can you
I wouldn't
imagine-
be surprised if at some point, if like a curvature was argued, that he would actually bring back boats going over the horizon, just like that.
Of course, they always
Because they always,
just one
always
second, guys.
do.
Hold on, just 1 second. You're on screen, QE. Go ahead.
This is my answer.
And to those of you who are on the globe side, ask yourself this. Does it concern you that a PhD astronomer, pseudoscientist who is the purveyor / priest of your religion, refers to hillbilly blue balls to demonstrate you can have gas pressure without a container? If I was a baller right now, I'd be hanging my head in shame.
Can you imagine
Well, if they don't understand it, they're probably celebrating, because they probably don't. Go ahead, buddy.
Let's paraphrase this into something that we would need to argue on our side to make a point, right? I can't think of one. There must be a comparison that we'd need to demonstrate something to support an assertion or something like that. It's
Yeah,
like
we would use it. We would use it to demonstrate that you can have a gas pressure gradient in a container.
Can you imagine if we were trying to say something and then demonstrating it with a container when we said it's not a container? They'd be all over this like a rash. And it's like, why are they not? I mean, I tried to ask Rumpus, why is he supporting this? He said, well, you need to have a pressurized container to have gas pressure. And I'm like, yeah, but we have gas pressure, so it has to be a pressurized container, doesn't it? It has to be a sealed container. But I just don't know how to get past. I can't see how the ballers don't see this.
Right, it is a pressurized container. It's got a valve measuring the level of pressure inside it. I can't quite believe that's their rebuttal.
It's a magician's trick. It's like, oh, this
It's
is
not a very good
container,
trick.
It's not a container. And it's a
It's not a good trick. I can see the container. It's about 30 foot long.
Yeah, it's not a very good trick.
No.
We can all see it. It's right there. Like, what? I don't understand this crap. This is ridiculous.
That's what they're relying on. They're relying on people just reading the headlines, not understanding what they're actually seeing, and then just going with that. That's the trick. Very superficial.
And then Mr. PhD backs this up.
which is worse, Mr. PhD remaining silent when Nathan Thompson asks a question, or Mr. PhD posting this vid of a container?
That's a toss-up.
Which one's worse?
That's a toss-up.
But the same guy did both.
He was probably better off just being quiet and not engaging, because this right now, what you just did, Doctor, this is a joke. This is a sad joke.
Yeah, he just tapped into the wrong argument, buddy.
Well, that just proves a PhD means nothing.
or that at least the PhD
Exactly. That
prevent
sound
one from
effect
doing
right
very
there.
stupid things.
Seize him.
I was in a. Wah, 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 wah. Oh man.
Yeah, someone do a toe tag with that soundtrack after he really says, "My chief witness, Hillbilly Blue Ball."
I can't believe he's citing Hillbilly Blue Balls.
This is great. I love it.
Great.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it.
I was 2 seconds from saying wow in the meeting. Like I had to be like, I gotta calm down. Because what?
I don't know. This just tells me that he's relatively innocent as to what's been going around between flat Earth and globe Earth.
No, what this is
The more
telling you.
primitive their arguments, like boats going over the horizon, all that, if you're gonna point at this level of stuff, then you've clearly not been trained. You just don't know what's going around. So it's like
What?
an innocence.
No innocence here. He was asked a direct
The
question.
innocent stupidity.
Can
Yeah,
I finish?
but hold on.
I waited
What-
for you to finish.
What it shows you is that
He's-
he's done a Google search because he's been troubled by the question, and that's his result.
Yes.
Exactly. He looked it up. He punched in gas pressure without a container real quick on YouTube. This popped up. He probably didn't even look at it to assess that whether there is no container or what. I don't know. But then he posts it.
This is the thing, right? If you've got the truth on your side, then you're going to assert things that are correct because you've studied them. Whereas if you're just fighting for the bullshit narrative, and the bullshit narrative's being put to the top of the lists, then you're going to have a PhD of your religion go to one of those search results, as is clearly the case. And the result of that is he gets more exposed as a Dumbo. He cited Hillbilly Blue Balls. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, this is so bad.
And didn't he say that you guys were getting all your answers? You couldn't answer the flat earthers' questions because you were going where? To the internet. That's what he said, remember?
Pure projection. So the reason people can't answer flat earth claims is because they're going to the wrong sources. He gets posed one question that's met with total silence and is then followed up with a Google search, and the result is Hillbilly Blue Balls. You complete moron.
Toe tag it. Toe tag it. Toe tag it.
It's funny how they laugh at this, but yet they don't understand the experiment. That's quite funny.
Oh, my bad, guys. Sorry. He's got a good point. We forgot. There's always the standard rebuttal. You
Yeah,
don't
come on.
understand. We
Yeah,
forgot.
come on, let's
Sorry.
hear it,
We
Highlander.
should have
Explain
said it
this.
on your behalf, really. Sorry, guys. Let's just say it on behalf of the ball. You don't understand.
Yeah, we don't understand. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Yet we're having a great time laughing very loudly because we actually do understand the irony of the situation, something that eludes you ballers.
Now let's play. Are you as dumb as a PhD? Dun 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 dun. Highlander, is a 30-foot long pipe a container? Dun 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 dun. Are you as dumb as a PhD astronomer? Is a pipe a container, Highlander? How dumb are you?
I never said it wasn't, and neither did
So
they.
by you saying you haven't said it isn't, would you say that it is?
No, what I said was you didn't understand the purpose of the experiment.
Is
Yeah.
a 30?
You
It's a
asked
yes
for-
or no.
you
Let's
asked
just
for an
see.
example,
I'm going to edge on the side of yes. You're as dumb as this PhD astronomer. So I'll ask again. It's a closed question with a yes or no answer. Is a 30-foot long pipe a container? Yes or no, Highlander? Dun 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 dun. You too may be as dumb as a PhD astronomer. Find out soon with Highlander's answer.
Depends what you're putting in it. Depends on whether it would contain it or not. If it doesn't contain what you put in it, then no, it wouldn't be a container.
Oh, okay.
If
It's containing. It is containing. It is containing butane. So you would say because it's containing butane, it would be by definition a container then.
And that just confirms my point that you don't understand the purpose of his experiment.
Sorry, I'm not asking about the experiment. I'm asking about a pipe, and you still yet to give me a yes or no answer to a closed question. Is a 30-foot long pipe a container? You don't need to talk through the question so you can ignore it again. I'm going to ask it concisely and see if you give a yes or no question. So far, it seems, Highlander, you are as dumb as this PhD astronomer because you're skirting the question rather than giving a yes or no answer. I'll ask it again, fourth time. Is a 30-foot long pipe a container, given that based on your parameters that if it contains something, it is a container? Yes or no? Pipe, container, yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Congratulations, you are not as dumb as Dr. Danny Faulkner, PhD astronomer, who thinks a 30-foot long pipe is a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. Even though, as you rightly point out, Highlander, a man on his own side, a layman by comparison, you appreciate that a 30-foot long pipe is indeed a container, but PhD astronomer Dr. Daniel Faulkner is stupid. He thinks it's a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. How stupid's he, Highlander, eh?
Highlander, I'm actually very proud of you, man.
Yeah, me too. Well done.
Pointing out
I don't think
that
Highlander's
is a
got the
good
memo.
example. Yeah, and the fact that you don't understand the experiment and then you sit and laugh at it just makes things even worse.
You've said that 2 or 3 times. We do understand that it's not an experiment. So you saying we don't understand the experiment, tell us what the independent and dependent variable was for Hillbilly Blue Ball's quote-unquote experiment. You've made that claim, now you're going to back it by telling us the parameters, independent and dependent variable for that experiment, please.
All the details are in his video, which
I've
I'm
watched
sure
it.
you've seen several times.
Okay, if that's your answer, I've watched it and he didn't express any independent and dependent variables in that video, so it's not an experiment. Your assertion was wrong. It's not an experiment. So no, not knowing the details of it as an experiment is an incorrect assertion. It's not an experiment. It is a demonstration of a pipe. It's definitely a demonstration of 2 containers, one transferring gas pressure to the other. Not a demonstration of gas pressure without a container, as asserted by the moron videographer Hillbilly Blue Balls and PhD astronomer Dr. Daniel Faulkner, both of which are very much mistaken.
I really think you guys are beyond help.
Okay, Highlander, I got one question. I got to ask Anthony for the correct title of Hillbilly Blue Balls' video. What was Hillbilly Blue Balls, who did the video, titled his video, Anthony?
Gas pressure without a container.
Oh, but it did have a container. It had a 30-foot pipe, as correctly identified as a container by Hillbilly and by Highlander.
Right. So, Highlander, if the person doing the so-called experiment says gas pressure without a container, and you notice the container, and you say, we don't get it?
Yeah, it seems like you don't get that he's wrong either, because the title of his video says he's got gas pressure without a container, but he's actually got a canister with gas pressure being transferred into a pipe, correctly identified by you, Highlander, as a container, unlike Dr. Daniel Faulkner, who is under the misapprehension that Hillbilly Blue Balls has demonstrated gas pressure without a container. I don't know why a doctor would be under such a misapprehension. It's beyond comprehension. This man that's been accredited with a PhD could be so stupid as to assign the title of non-container to a pipe. I mean, that seems beyond stupid. Strip him of his PhD, the man's a moron.
His own side.
I mean, Highlander, why would you even backpedal on this and say that we don't understand when you just conceded that, yeah, a pipe is a container? I mean, why would you do that? I understand that you have to fight for your side or whatever the fuck, but I don't get why you would be so, quick to
Pipe will be a container
discredit.
if it contains the product that you put in it. Yeah. If it doesn't contain the product that you put in it, then it's not classed as a container, is it?
Yeah, but there's butane in it. There's butane
It doesn't
in it.
matter if it's a pipe or a fucking plastic tub. Yeah. It makes no difference if the pipe or the plastic tub or the barrel, if it doesn't contain what you put in it, then it's not a container.
Oh, it did.
Is it?
Yeah, but did the pipe not contain the butane?
It did,
Highlander?
Yeah, we've covered this. By his definition, it is a container, and
But the
he's
point
conceded
of-
that.
But
You know,
the point of his experiment wasn't.
It's
it
not an
had nothing to
experiment.
do
He keeps
with the
saying it,
actual
so
pipe.
yeah, it's just
It
going to
was
start
all
to
to
piss me
do
off.
with the pressure
You're just going to
gradient.
start to piss
And
me off,
because
Highlander.
you
It's
don't
not an experiment.
understand that,
So, Highlander, it's not an
let him have it.
experiment. Hello. Try to listen to what I'm saying to you. It's the second time. It is not an experiment. It did not have a natural phenomena. It did not have a presumed cause independent variable laid out in a hypothesis with a null. It's not an experiment. You keep calling it an experiment and saying we don't understand it. We understand that the assertion the video is making by way of demonstration is that he can demonstrate gas pressure without a container, but he doesn't do that. He transfers gas pressure from one container to another. However, the problem isn't that you correctly identify it as a container, which it is. The problem is that a PhD astronomer who has claimed to refute all flat earth claims and has also asserted that the people who can't refute flat earth claims are simply looking in the wrong place, has had a question posed to him: how do you have gas pressure without a container? And what he's done to overcome that problem, which he couldn't answer when asked by Nathan Thompson at the Flat Earth International Conference, was to go and Google search it and then cite redneck retard hillbilly blue bowls as an example of gas pressure without a container because he's a moron. That's the problem.
Right. Okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have said his example. Right. Okay. Maybe.
What about
maybe
his
that would have been a
example?
better word to use.
What we
right?
don't understand
But
his example. Do we not
of the
understand his
pressure
example?
gradient was to show you that eventually, when the pressure equalizes at the top, you don't need the container to be sealed in order for the gas to stay there, because everything, the pressure gradient equalizes all the way up.
Inside the atmosphere, isn't he? The pressure of the earth. Do it in a vacuum and then let us know what happens.
No. Sorry, we've covered that as well, Highlander. So you believe
It wouldn't matter if.
Sorry, I was trying to explain something to you. Clearly, that means continue talking indefinitely and don't listen to me, right, Highlander? That clearly means don't listen to my response. Yeah, I heard. I don't need you to repeat it through my rebuttal. I'd like you to listen to my rebuttal. You are under the impression that that pipe with butane at the bottom, a gas pressure gradient inside the pipe being a container, that will not equalize with the surrounding air. That's what you are asserting. I'm not asking you to respond. I'm summarizing what you are asserting. Now I'm going to assert that entropy will still increase. That given enough time, not only will the gas fill the available volume and leave the pipe, but the pipe will also succumb to the effects of entropy and degrade. Not only will the pipe degrade, but every single brick in the house behind the pipe, given enough time, will eventually succumb to the effects of entropy and turn to dust. So no, given enough time, not only will the gas fill the available volume, contrary to this assertion that you're making now, that it must be a sealed what now? Oh, a sealed container to maintain gas pressure. That's wrong also. Entropy is a law of nature and will take a hold of that pipe the same as it'll take hold of the gas inside the pipe and the house behind it.
So if you can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum, how come there's air next to your head when there's nothing in your head?
Well, is that just an ad hominem attack? You didn't address the entropy that would increase in every single thing in his demonstration. Not just him and his wrinkly old skin, but everything around him. The pipe, the house, the car, the pavement. You're talking through me, of course, because you've just had an ad hom. You've ad hommed me and said that there's air between my head. That's not addressing the fact that entropy will indeed disperse the butane into the surrounding environment given enough time. It's a law of nature. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. And it'll not only affect the pipe you're asserting, will indefinitely maintain that butane in the pipe. Wrong. Entropy's a law of nature. And the gas will eventually fill the available volume and leave the pipe. Given enough time, the pipe will also degrade, and so will the house, given enough time. Because entropy is directly proportional to time. The more time that elapses, the more entropy takes hold, the more it increases. So you asserting that shoving a bit of butane in the bottom of a pipe means you can have gas pressure in a, let's get it clear, unsealed container. Shout out to complete moron Dr. Daniel Dr. Daniel Faulkner, who believes that a pipe is not a container. But in this example by Highlander, it's not a sealed container. Regardless, the gas will still disperse. It's called entropy. Now, Highlander, this is your second opportunity to address my statement rather than attack the man. A logical fallacy, I might add. And with that incredibly protracted silence, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Another massive thank you to all of today's Discord and G Plus panel for making this after show. It's not even after show, this exclusive uncut show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!